Hi and welcome to this video tutorial. We basically have put on our website danerb.com an example file called Expiratory Manager Example. Basically, if you're working with dates or you want to have control over insurance certificates and you want to know when people's or companies' insurance certificates are going to expire, this is an example. You could also use this for calibrations, for doing tasks, anything that kind of goes out or out of spec after a certain amount of time. So in this we basically created a date column, a company column, and then we have this column here which does all our calculations. So in this one we have company A and it's going to expire on the 25th of June 2011. So in this column here in C2 we basically set up this code, and I'll go through this code very quickly. It's pretty much based on a configuration that's here, which says if it's within 1 day of expiry, tell it to say that it's expired, and if it's in 7 days, tell it that it's going to be you require a send email. If it's in date, it'll tell you the number, and if it's to be determined, it'll be blank. Along with this, then again, we have the configuration, which is separate to everything else, so we could change this. So if we wanted 8 days before we email somebody, that's fine. Also, we have a kind of executive summary, so we can see straight away that we have 7 companies registered, how many certs are in date, which companies we have to notify, which are active and which are waiting. And I've just put in a graph here as well, just as another example. So the code. Basically, this code says, first I've done an error catch. So if it's an error, don't do anything. So then if we go into the actual code, we're saying basically if the date is below today and above 7 days, write send email. If it's not, if it's below the configuration date of 1, then say expired, and that's it. Otherwise, just give me the date. So if we want to figure out what the date is of expiry, we take the date of the insurance policy, which is here, and we take away today's date. Yeah. So if we do both of those things, we should get a number. The biggest problem with dates, as we said in our earlier tutorial, is you must set this to format cell, and it must be a number. Okay, if it's not a number, it'll come up as a date. And the other thing that we might do is we might say filter. This is just a nice little thing to add. So we have an auto filter. So we can actually say, well, tell me the companies that are just expired, and it'll automatically filter out those days. So then we can turn off that let's view all. Same thing for send email, whatever. So if you wanted to print out something, it's just easier to see which are there rather than writing them down again. Another thing that we can do is we can add conditional formatting. So you see the backgrounds are going red and the other one is going kind of an amber. So we can actually set format, conditional formatting. And in this we can actually set if the cell is equal to, say in this sense, send email, we'll then set the format of the background color to be, say, a red, yeah, or an amber. So that's basically how you do that. So I'll just go into the coding here. So that's my calculations for there. So in this then we just have a summary, and we're using a count if statement. So count if insurance certs here, okay, are greater than or blank, or not blank. So that will tell us all the companies that are listed. And this one then we're basically making a query count if C is expired, and I'll tell us the number of that. So we go through each of those. You can see the codes for each of them in the Excel file. And then finally we just did up a graph just to show as an executive summary. You just want to be able to throw a graph into an email or onto a Word document and just tell your manager what the story is rather than giving them this. So this is a nice quick way for a manager to know what the story is with regards to your, say, your insurance accounts or, say, safety certificates or calibrations. So you can tell them exactly how much work has been done, what work needs to be done. It's just a good thing to know a little bit of this code so that you can get the most out of your information in your office. And again, having the configuration in a separate a separate file just means that if you need to make changes, you don't have to change all the codes in there. So I hope you like it. It's available for download on danerb.com. Thank you.